How's it going, guys? It's the Pixelated Pumpkin, and in today's video, I'll be taking a look at HalloweenCostumes.com complete 2022 Halloween animatronic lineup. So last year, this company, I guess you could call it that, or website, released a bunch of these new props made by, I'm pretty sure, the company that used to make from Wilbur. I'm pretty sure it's Party Time or Party Gears, something like that. And this year, they're back with even more props. Now, these aren't the best. These all seem like really weird and obscure almost, and just they don't look too great, but I still want to take a look at them since there are a few that I do find pretty cool looking. Last year, again, we took a look at them back in October, but this year they released everything really early. But there's no videos, it's just pictures for now and a few GIFs kind of animating and showing how they move, but it's really just like 2 pictures put together for most of them. So I'll be also analyzing those. But without further ado, I guess let's just hop right in since there are a lot of props to take a look at here. So let's get started. So the first prop we'll be looking at is this banshee looking guy, I guess, and I really don't have too much to say about it other than it looks really cheap and not that good, honestly. But regardless, it is still pretty unique. We've really only seen female banshee ghost props like this before, so seeing a male one is pretty cool, I would have to say. And as you can see from that gif there, the animation does look pretty interesting. It might be a jump scare or it might like lean back and forth like that, I don't know. I don't know if it has mouth animation or anything. It looks like it doesn't. It looks like it'll just lean back and forth. But regardless, this seems like a pretty interesting prop overall. Not one that's too awful, but the base, the way the base looks, it looks really bad on it. Like, I don't know what they're trying to hide there or what they're trying to do with the base. The base just looks really weird for this thing with the way he's held up. Other than that, it looks fine, I guess. The face also does not look that great. But, I don't know. It seems alright. I'm not sure how much this will cost. The prices are on the website, but I just can't be bothered to go look at them. But you could all check out the website, HalloweenCostumes.com. That's literally what they're called. So, regardless, this is still a pretty interesting prop, and I don't have too much to say about it, but it's fine. Just really cheap and kind of ugly looking. Next up, we have this werewolf, and I have to say, this thing just looks pretty bad right off the bat. Not a fan of this one. I mean, it does have the traditional werewolf look. It is a gray werewolf, but I mean, come on, this thing just looks so cheap. The face especially looks terrible on this thing. It doesn't look like a wolf, and how the teeth are all bent on it too. It just looks really bad. But the body and everything else looks fine. We don't get any hints at what the animation could be here, since for some reason only a few of them had GIFs to go along with them. This was not one of them, unfortunately. But all in all, this thing looks pretty crappy, and I mean, I'm not expecting much from this company, considering it is Party Gears and they're notorious for being really cheap. But still, this one just really not a big fan of. Now we have this butler guy with his head on the platter, which I think this is a pretty interesting concept, since we did have Headless help at Spear Halloween, of course. They're just doing something a little bit different with the Headless butler concept here. Now, I'm not going to go as far to say this is a ripoff of Headless help, since you can do plenty of things with a Headless butler, and really this one is not that even much like Headless help. There's no really ghost color scheme going on here. It's more of just a decapitated corpse with a head on a platter, and I'm guessing the head talks, the mouth moves, I'm assuming. And overall, I think this one is fine, just very low detail in the clothing and stuff, but the head actually looks okay. And I don't know, can't see this being a very scary one, more of maybe a goofy one, but still, I think it's alright. Really not too much interesting stuff going on here, just pretty generic, but also not too bad. Definitely not as good as the last 2 props. Definitely a lot better than the last 2 props we looked at already, so it's nice to see a little improvement, but that's not to say all the other props are going to be good in this video, but this one, I like it a little bit. Right after the last butler, we got another one this year from them. Now, the strange thing about this guy is, of course, he's pretty generic looking, but he kind of looks like an SVI prop almost. I'll zoom in on the face for you here. There's only one photo, unfortunately. We don't get a close-up, but that looks like an SVI face mold, especially with how the eyes look here. Now, of course, I could be wrong here. This probably is not SVI. I'm just saying it kind of looks like an SVI prop almost, which is definitely interesting. Regardless, this one is way worse than the last one. I mean, sure, he has more detailed clothes, but it is just a extremely generic-looking butler prop. Really nothing special going on here with the last one. So we have so many of these generic butlers, so this one is just another one added on to the mix. So really, this one, we didn't need anything like this again, but here we have another generic butler prop. I don't hate it, I don't love it, it's just really generic, and we've seen thousands of these, so I'm not impressed. Next up, we definitely have my favorite out of the whole bunch here, which is basically this towering version of Wailing Banshee. Now, obviously, this is not a ripoff or another version of Wailing Banshee. I think the prop looks very similar to her, but it is obviously a lot different. So I don't think this obviously has the same animation as her. This one probably moves side to side and speaks and says stuff. It just looks a lot similar to her, and honestly, I might like this thing better. I think it looks a lot scarier than Wailing Banshee and has a very menacing and creepy appearance to her overall, and definitely the scariest one out of this whole bunch that HalloweenCostumes.com released. This one's definitely my favorite. I'm looking forward to the video whenever that drops, showing her animation and phrases. Overall, this one is really cool, and I like it a lot. This is definitely the best one out of the whole lot so far, but we still have a lot to get through here. This one is my favorite. This one, definitely my favorite one so far, so let's continue. Next prop we have is actually my second favorite, and not too far off from the other one, which is this floating ghost guy. Now, I think that, of course, it's probably generic for most of you, just another floating ghost, but I think this is actually really cool. The overall design of it is pretty basic, but I like how detailed the sheets over this guy are. Very grimy and dirty, which I like a lot, and also the face on it is really cool. It reminds me a lot of Ghostface from Scream, but also with enough differences to kind of differentiate itself a lot from that design that they're obviously taking some inspiration from here. My only concern is how small the head is, as you could see on the prop. It just looks very small compared to the body, so I'm a little bit nervous about how small that'll be. It could definitely ruin the prop if it's not big enough, but I don't know. Overall, this one is still really cool and definitely my second favorite so far. Just a really cool one in my opinion. Next up, we have probably one of the worst ones from this year, which is this clown dude. Now, this thing looks really short. I'm guessing probably around 3 feet tall. This thing just looks so stupid, not scary at all. Honestly, just an atrocity to look at. This is just beyond bad in my opinion. It looks so goofy, so stupid. I don't know. I feel like you would find this in a cartoon when they're in a Halloween store or something, and there's this stupid Halloween animatronic that they're making fun of. This is what it would be. This thing sucks so badly, honestly. I can't imagine anyone even liking this or getting it. It looks like garbage. It is probably extremely cheap, and I don't know. I just hate this thing. It just looks honestly retarded in my opinion. Like, I don't think you could really get worse than this. Our next prop is another clown, but a much better one at that. This one is actually pretty cool. It seems to be a normal life-size standing clown, and I think this one has a very awesome design to it. I feel like I've seen this like as a Halloween costume before, but I could be wrong about that. But I know for a fact that last year, or maybe even 2 years ago, this was shown in a Halloween store in Australia, so this might not be new, but they're selling it in the States now on HalloweenCostumes.com, so that's pretty interesting. Overall, the design is cool, and I do like the black and white color scheme. Overall, it's pretty cool. Next up, we got another clown prop, this one being almost kind of a ripoff, but not really, of the Jack-in-Box from Home Depot from 2020. Now, I think this is a much worse looking version than that thing, first of all, but other than that, it just kind of looks stupid. I don't know. I like the jester hat on it, though, and the body looks fine. There's really nothing too bad about the way it looks. It's just kind of dumb when it comes to this concept. I like the Home Depot one a little bit. The phrases are awful, though. And this one here, it looks like it does the same exact thing, but I don't know. It just really isn't for me. It's another very generic-looking clown. The box looks fine, I guess. The spring also looks fine. I like how this time they at least cover up the middle pole, which is something even the Home Depot one didn't do. But other than that, it's just a really meh-looking clown, and I don't know. I really don't care about it either way. Now we have an actual ripoff prop, which, trust me, will be in the ripoffs for this year. But this is an actual full-blown ripoff of Mr. Salty. Like, there's really nothing different about it. It's a clown still. They didn't even change up the theming here. It's a clown, does the same exact thing, but looks way worse somehow. I am already a person who does not like Mr. Salty at all. I think that's one of the worst clown props in Spirit Halloween history. I put it like way down at the bottom in my every single clown video ranking from like a year back, and this one is just so bad. This is a lot worse than Mr. Salty, of course. Even though how much I hate Mr. Salty, this one is just miles worse, and it is cool that we're getting a ripoff here, though. I'll definitely be looking forward to talking about it. This thing just looks terrible. The clown in the middle is so small for some reason. That thing looks like a tabletop. So I don't know. This thing looks like complete garbage, but regardless, I'm excited to take a look at it in the rip-offs videos for this year. So that is it. We got one more, which is a small one, so let's continue. The last prop from HalloweenCostumes.com is this dummy dude. Now, I mean, I don't know what it does. It looks like you could actually hold it, and maybe it says some stuff. It does look pretty creepy. It reminds me of Slappy a lot. They definitely took a lot of inspiration from Slappy, the dummy's design for this one here. But overall, I guess it's fine. It just looks pretty cheap, generic. I just wanted to include this one last. I don't know. I don't really care about it. Kind of looks crappy. I don't really care. It's kind of stupid, but anyways, I just wanted to get everything. I really didn't even need to include this one. I just said, all right, you know what? Let me do every prop. I don't want to miss any. But here is this dummy guy in case any of you guys care. Well, alrighty, everybody, that is it for HalloweenCostumes.com 2022 lineup. Now, I'm sure the videos will be released sometime over the summer. I don't know if I'll take a look at those unless they are actually pretty cool, and some of the ones I said sucked here end up being cool, but I don't know. I know a lot of you guys don't like these, and it's just kind of fun to laugh at how crappy they look, but there were honestly 3 ones I actually really liked this year. Last year, too, I said they had a few good ones, and I think due to the smaller amount of them last year, that lineup was overall better. But considering how much bigger this lineup is compared to last year's, I have to say this one is definitely better for sure in terms of the coolness of the props. Last year, Funzo the Clown was probably my favorite. This year, I like the solid 3 of them, especially that towering banshee girl. But anyways, that is it. Overall, these are all really cheaply made. I'm not going to be buying them, and I'm sure none of really anyone watching this video will end up getting any of these. They're all online onlys. There's no storefront for HalloweenCostumes.com. Again, they primarily sell Halloween costumes. But nonetheless, it is still interesting to take a look at these props. And yeah, that's all I really wanted to do here. So be sure to like and subscribe as always. Also, check out my merch and my Instagram in the description below. And I guess with all that, as always, Big Slay Pumpkin signing out.